Carb cycling macros. Let's set you up for success. Hey, Jim Schultz here for F-Cubed and LiveFcubed.com. And inside the Cube, man, we hit fitness, finance, and faith. Specifically, fat loss, investing, and my man, Jesus. So if any of that sounds enticing to you, then please consider subscribing. Okay, so it stands to reason that to harness all the power of carb cycling, the carb cycling benefits, some positive carb cycling results, we've got to have a firm handle on carb cycling macros. The protein, carbs, and fats ratio. This is carb cycling 101. Well, no, it isn't. We've already covered carb cycling 101, and it isn't this. So maybe it's 102? Anyway, where that video was basically, how to start carb cycling or how to carb cycle in general, we didn't really dive into the macros too deeply themselves. That is what this video is for. So hang with me, man, for like 3.5 minutes, and I'm going to show you exactly how to set up your macros for carb cycling. So here's what's up. Kind of like we saw in that first video, that Carb Cycling 101 video, from day to day, your protein and fats are going to remain pretty much constant. It's going to be that carbohydrate variable that we want to toggle. So let's say, as an example, that your baseline day, your medium day, like we talked about in that first video, is 175 protein, 200 carbs, and 60 fat. Now from here, your high days might look like 175 protein, go up to 250 on your carbs, let those guys go up about 25%, and maybe even let your fats float up a little bit to 65. Because peanut butter, almond butter, cashew butter, basically anything in the nut butter family. And your low days might be 175 protein, constant, down to 150 on your carbs, so down 25%, and then maybe only 55 on your fats, because you gotta pay the piper for all that nut butter. So let's wrap her up with a little recap and review style Q&A. Question number 1. So Jim, specifically, how might I set up my macros for fat loss? Man, it's almost like I knew you were going to ask that question, because I've got the next video in the series, Carb Cycling for Fat Loss, that's going to answer that specific question in fine detail, so give that guy a look. Question number 2, so you suggested going up 25% and down 25% on my carbs from high to low. Does it actually matter how much I go up or down? That's a really good question, and the answer is no. It actually doesn't matter at all. You just have to be careful, right? Because we talked about this in the first video. You don't want to run into a starve binge cycle. You don't want to run into, the Chinese buffet all broccoli cycle. That is no fun for anyone. And lastly, question number 3, most important question of the day, Jim. All right, man, what's your go-to nut butter? Peanut, cashew, or almond? I'm actually going to surprise you with a D. None of the above. Go nutso. This stuff is a crazy combination of some nuts, some seeds, some secret sauce. There is no scenario where you bust open a jar and you escape with only 1 tablespoon. There it is, man. Carb cycling macros in 6 minutes or less. Hit me with that like, share, subscribe, and stick around because carb cycling for fat loss is on its way.